Hey, it's Ted here. I'm sitting in my office and I'm going over some videos of a wiring job I did on a sailboat. It's a racing sailboat, so it wasn't a very big, area to work in. It's pretty confined. And the owner had done a lot of wiring over the years, and he wanted to have it rewired. So I took some videos earlier, I thought, of the original wiring, but I guess I failed to hit record or they got deleted, but I do have a few pictures to show you kind of what I replaced and then what some of the final project is, but also what some of the wiring he tried to do. And then I just had to replace all of that as well. So I'm just going to show you what some of the pictures are from the beginning right after this. These are the original pictures I took before I ripped everything out. And literally ripped everything out except the existing wiring ends and then rewired everything. So it would meet ABYC standards. That's a key point here. Everything is secured, shrink wrapped, and sized properly and fused properly. So here we go. All right, I'm pulling all this out, and here's the fuse, and then there's this. This is the sailboat owner that's done this wiring. So no shrink wrap. Why put two connections and pour crimps on here? And then we come down here, and I'm just tearing all this out because I got to redo it all. And we get this weird termination block hanging out here with these poor crimps. The other thing that I was really amazed at was you're running a VHF radio that, 25 watts. He put in male-female spades and then taped them up. And I know his crimp tool is not a very good one, so the crimps aren't good. And I just happened to look at the wire, and looking at the wire, I found out that this wire is 18 gauge wire. So this wire is smaller than the radio wire. So I set up voltage drop, terrible voltage drop issues right here. This is a no-no with electronics. We don't want to do that, that's for sure. So I've got some 16 gauge, which will run up here, which is the same size as this wire. And, that'll feed the VHF, also tie in both the GPS separately with the radio up behind here into the panel, so they'll have their own circuit breaker, and that whole circuit will be protected properly. Yep, so here is what the owner did. I just untaped it, and I'm looking at this like, this isn't even tight. And it just is spread the spades out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is a typical wiring you might find in somebody's boat that has never done any wiring before. So we're gonna fix this. Okay, finishing up here with the wiring. I've got one more fuse I gotta change, but the rest of it's pretty much done. So I'll show you the end result from what I was working on earlier today. Put in a new main circuit breaker, which is going to feed the panel to make sure that we're, within that 7-inch range by ABYC standards down here to the battery. They are directional, so this is upside down because this is where the battery lead comes from. This is where it goes to the panel. We have our bus bar. So we have our fuse up here. This is a 3-amp fuse, which is going to feed the backbone for the NEMA. I've got another fuse that I put in that's up inside here that's for the GPS, and then I've got another one I got to add in later, which is for the VHF radio. Everything's pretty much done, shrink wrapped, crimped, tie wrapped. Everything's pretty secure. The panel, and what I did was the power supply. He had run it around this corner, so what I did was there was enough room to snake it through here. And I put in a bunch of these white clips, as you can see, and ran it down here and then up behind the battery. It's tight in here, and put another couple of clips up there. And then I put a grommet through the actual panel itself. So there's the end result of the wiring that I did on that small sailboat. And it's just a compact area. You know, there's not a lot of room to work behind the panel itself. There's a little fiberglass box that he made. And then I wired up a new breaker panel. He's still got to put the labels on it. But everything now is shrink wrapped and tied in tight, properly crimped, so we're not going to have, you know, the unwanted loose connections, especially with electronics. That just wreaks havoc with them. So if you like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. So we have this 30 amp breaker here that's coming off the battery switch that feeds the main power to the main DC panel here. And then we've got, you know, all the wiring is coming through here through terminal blocks for easy testing, all shrink wrapped. I got my bus bar here with all the grounds. I got to tidy this up just a little bit more. I just put this in today. And then he ended up finishing the backbone. Looks nice here. And the power supply I put in coming in. And then he decided to put his GPS in his VHF radio in. So the VHF radio, I see the wire coming off the back of the cable, and it comes around the corner here. And then it's duct tape in place with a fuse. And then I'm not sure how that wiring's tied in there, so we're gonna look at that. And then I ran down, and then I ran into this. And I was like, oh my, what is this? So let me turn the camera so hopefully it looks better. So I saw this and I untaped it, and I was like, no, we're not going to leave that. So we're going to run this and we'll fix that. So that comes off someplace. These wires go right to the battery, and so those wires come off and they go right to the battery. So I wanted to bring them up to the panel and put them on a circuit protection just to run the cable through. So we got to fix this. This is a bit of a mess, and then we'll go from there. He didn't run the cable. He could have run the cable through that grommet too. He didn't make a big enough grommet, but that's all right. We'll fix it. Just a short one here. You know, doing some wiring on top of engine, drive work, everything else. So we do everything. We work on the engines and the drives, and you know, electrical and all that. The other question was he has a you know, starting issue, which is going to be another part series of this. Maybe we'll do a voltage drop test and show you how that works out. All right. If you like the video, please subscribe. I'll hit you in the next one. If you like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.